What's up, guys? Happy Friday. Friday Fun Day. Is that a thing, Jared? I don't know. We'll make it a thing now. But welcome on into Let's Bet It. Lauren Jabbar here with Jared Smith. I'm riding high. Yesterday was my birthday, and I hit that Trayvon Diggs prop.
You're unbelievable. Can we all just take a pause here for a second before we start the show? Let's just applaud Lauren Jabbar. Not only is she a year older, a year wiser, a year richer as well. After that, that's how you get rich. You hit 5-1 props on Thursday Night Football. Very well done. Very well done, my friend.
God, that was so much fun. I can't believe, it was close to the end of the game too, and we have a group text, and you just texted me at the end. You're like, "No freaking way!" I'm like, "I don't know. I can't explain it."
Happy freaking birthday!
Well, we're moving on to today. New day, new dollar,
new
bets, and we're super excited about it. So today, let's run through our slate of topics. We have an NBA radar, taking a look at all of the games tonight, the line movements, and everything that we're expecting from some of those games tonight. Then we have back to the NFL futures, taking a look, Jared, at your NFL futures that you've been holding on to for quite some time now, hasn't it been? About 13, 14, 15 weeks for some of them. Then we have our NFL picks heading into this weekend. Jared's kick picks. We're taking it across the pond, talking about the EPL. And then the Pickswise play of the day and our best bets of the day. So without further ado, my friend, let's get it. Let's bet it. NBA, we're sticking with it right now. Let's go over some of the movement in the NBA market for tonight's games. What stands out to you when you're looking at the slate of games tonight?
Yeah, so this is a new segment, and obviously we talked a little bit about this yesterday. Yeah. The NBA is a unique market, as is the NHL, as is Major League Baseball, and it's very, we talk a lot about football on this show, college football, NFL, where the market has the whole week to kind of settle. In the NBA, it's like instant. The line's open the night before, and by morning time, we start to get a sense of which direction the market is moving in. And the morning, in my eyes, is the perfect time to bet it, because if you do get wind of a player move before everyone else wakes up, before the masses start betting the games later in the day, then you can get a favorable number. Another thing the morning does is it tells us where the sharp money is going. And there is one game tonight. We're going to talk about a few games tonight, but there's one game tonight in particular, the Clippers and the Lakers, where I can already tell you the sharp money, regardless of player movements, regardless of who starts, is already on the Lakers. Because the Clippers open as a 2-point favorite, and when I wake up this morning, the Lakers are favored. And unlike the NFL, where crossing zero isn't as big of a deal, especially if it goes from like -1 to -1, even though it's a 2-point move, it doesn't really shift the probabilities. In the NBA, it matters a little bit more because, again, the market isn't open for that long. It's only a 24-hour window. And when you have a 3-point line flip like that overnight, to me, the Lakers are clearly the sharper side. I know that sounds crazy because they've been dreadful this year. I think they've only won like 8 games against the number. But if I had to pick one game tonight of all of the games on the card, I think the Lakers look like the sharp side here early in the morning.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting. I mean, you look at what both these teams have been able to do. Both their last games were against the Kings. Clippers lost. Lakers won. There's not really any home court advantage because they play in the same building anyways, right? But I think we expected a little bit more from both teams heading into this season. They're now sitting at 6th and 7th in the West right now, battling it out. Right now, the West is between 3 teams, right? It's between the Jazz, the Golden State Warriors, and the Suns. And we have another game tonight between the Suns and Golden State Warriors, who actually took that primetime slot from this Lakers and Clippers game. What are you expecting from that one? Because they played like 4 days ago, and that was an incredible game.
Yeah, imagine if you were like under a rock for like 10 or 15 years and you came out and you're like, wait a minute, the Suns and the Warriors just took a primetime slot away from the Clippers and the Lakers. Before Steph Curry gets to the Warriors, like before that run started, and it was like the old Warriors and then the Suns who have had really rough years. And it's a changing of the guard in the NBA. Clearly the Suns and the Warriors, I think, are light years ahead of the Clippers and the Lakers in terms of the depth, the overall talent, how well they play. Granted, it is only December. These things have a way of evening out, and the Clippers and the Lakers obviously still have a lot of talent. But the primetime marquee game tonight, absolutely Suns-Warriors. We just saw the Suns play really well. But the line is telling you that not only is Devin Booker not going to play in this game, but the Warriors are probably going to win this game and win it handily. Right now, I'm seeing 7. It hasn't moved, though. And that is curious because obviously everyone's betting Golden State.
Yeah.
Phoenix not having their best player. You would imagine the public, what I'm seeing right now, again, early stages of the morning, about 75, 80% of the action coming in on Golden State, but the line has not moved off of 7. So maybe Phoenix is getting a little bit of love on the sharp side, but I would probably either stay away from this game or bet Golden State because honestly, it's really tough to back the Suns without Devin Booker. And they didn't cover last night in Detroit. They had to play last night, which is really tough.
I think that's another reason for it too, is the Warriors, the last game that they played the Suns. What was that? That was like Tuesday night, I think. So they've had a couple days of rest. They're chilling. They're back at home. The Suns played at home last night against the Pistons, and now they're traveling to Golden State for the second half of a back-to-back. You're playing without Devin Booker. I mean, that's tough. But the Suns right now, 18, let me repeat that, an 18-game winning streak. They did not lose in the month of November. It's absolutely incredible. They're only the 6th team in NBA history that has had an entire undefeated month. The last team to do it, guess what? Irony, the Golden State Warriors back in 2015. So it's going to be a pretty good matchup even without Devin Booker because they were able to get it done. Devin Booker went down in the second quarter on Tuesday night at home, and they still were able to get it done against Golden State. So it is going to be interesting. The Suns do have a ton of depth even without Booker in the lineup.
They do.
But they're going to be playing with heavier legs. They're traveling overnight after their game against the Pistons last night. But again, 18-game win streak, that's saying something. That's pretty crazy. Devin Booker actually tweeted out last night. He said, "No loss November." So instead of no shave November, he's doing no loss November, which they have the right to do it. They got the right to do it. It's pretty incredible.
You can talk smack when you win 18 in a row. Absolutely. So the Suns are an interesting team because the market really hasn't caught up with them yet. Or actually, to be honest with you, the market kind of has caught up with them because they're only 12-10 against the spread, despite being 19-3 overall.
Yeah.
So actually, I was wrong. The market has definitely caught up with them, and there's definitely a discrepancy with them winning games like they did last night and not covering the number, which also they did not last night. So I would be weary with Phoenix. Eventually in the NBA, it's a long season. They have been super hot. There will be regression, and if Devin Booker is hurt, if I'm Phoenix's front office, I am protecting Devin at all costs in these months because they were just in the finals. They can get back to the finals. They're going to be a top seed in the playoffs, even if Booker misses a month. And I would make sure that he's healthy for the springtime and the summertime. The wintertime, not as important.
Yeah. Another game I've been looking at is the Celtics at Jazz. Obviously, I was just talking about the Utah Jazz alongside Golden State and the Suns for the 3 best teams in the Western Conference right now. It's basically a battle between the 3 of them for that top spot. What have you seen from the Jazz? Because they're coming into this game as 8.5-point favorites, right, against the Celtics?
Yeah, a little sharpening towards Boston overnight. Total dropped 1.5. Nothing for me here to really say this is sharp or public or where the market's going to be on this game. It's a little too early to tell, and I don't have splits posted yet either. Both starting lineups do appear to be healthy. That is helpful because it is a true odds move. It's not going to be in response to a player being out. The odds shifting, if they do shift at all today, will be in response to somebody really smarter than me, betting it. And I haven't really seen that yet. The under would be the side that has picked up a little bit of steam here in the morning on the morning radar. And that would be the way I would look at it from a sharp perspective. So not a whole lot of movement on the spread, but the under does look to be a little bit heavy this morning with about 1.5 of movement.
Any other games on the slate that you're looking at tonight that you've seen some heavy movement?
Little reverse line movement with the Cleveland-Washington game. Slight. Nothing really noteworthy there. Total hasn't really done much either. The game that I would keep an eye on tonight is Brooklyn, Minnesota, because you know how Brooklyn can be with their player shifts. And that line did sharpen up overnight from 7.5. The Nets were favored 7.5 to 7. But the total went up 3.5 points, almost 4 points, actually, at Westgate from 219 to 223. So that's a steamy total. And we're at that point in the season. Let's take a look at the pace numbers. Minnesota's 10th in pace, Brooklyn's 8th. So that should be a relatively high tempo game between Brooklyn and Minnesota. And 223 still seems relatively reasonable for a total. So I would say Minnesota and the over would be a little bit of a sharp, steamy play from what I'm seeing here on the morning radar.
Can we talk really quick about a game last night that I saw the total of it, and I was like, what? Memphis taking on OKC. 150-78. I think it was something like that. They lost by
79. 152-79.
They lost by about 75 points. How?
Yes, they
Why?
did. I don't know.
What?
I
saw
idea.
that score and I was like,
the Thunder they've been ominous. It's been rolling thunder this year. It has not been good. I don't really know what, Presti and those guys are doing. They got 1 million first-round picks, but none of them they have no current players that are really, really good. They're 6-16 this year. So they play the Pistons though this week. So you would imagine. Actually,
they played the Rockets twice last week, and they lost twice to the Rockets.
They did. They got smacked in one of the games too.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I mean, I think to be honest with you, I think it speaks more to just how good Memphis is than anything else.
And they're without Ja Morant right now.
I know. And man, Ja's a warrior. I mean, I've liked the Memphis team a lot. They're just maybe missing a few pieces. But I really have nothing logical to say about that score.
I just wanted to bring it up because I thought 152. How?
It's embarrassing. They're professionals. Crazy. Eventually, you take some pride, right? And you're like, I'm not going to let you just drive down the lane and score. I'm going to make you do something else.
Yeah. Speaking of embarrassing, let's move on to NFL and the Thursday night football game. It's a good segue. Saints are taking out the Cowboys. Jared, what was your take on just that game in general?
First of all, I don't know how you do it. You've clearly sold your soul to the gambling gods. The Diggs pick. What? So much
so that books took it off.
They did. That's how sharp you are. Once you bet it, you're like the books are
everyone saw it on Pickswise, so everyone tried to go bet it and they just took it off because of me.
So that does happen a lot. When we give out picks that are in very nuanced markets, futures picks, props, I see this with Prop Bet Guy all the time. When Prop Bet Guy tweets out a prop, if you don't bet it within the first 2 minutes, less than that, 30 seconds, the line move or they take it down because those props are very thin markets. They don't get a lot of action on it. And when someone with his kind of following tweets out a prop, all of a sudden 100, 200, 300 people just start clicking. And the books, it's just a dude sitting in front of a screen that's seeing the action go across. And he's probably calling his boss someone's really betting this market really hard. We should probably take it down. That happens all the time. And
so am I that sharp?
No, I don't know if sharp is the word. No, but here is what it is. This website, many other, gambling Twitter people, they have big followings. So if you just tweet something out or if we talk about it on the show and the masses follow, it has nothing to do with sharp or whatever. Those markets are not equipped to handle 500, 1,000 people clicking right at the same time. Yeah. The books get overwhelmed and they get exposed and they have to take the market down and readjust the price. That's what happens.
They go, so this actually hits home. Someone just commented, Lauren is sharper than a Cutco set. I used to sell Cutco knives back in high school, and I would go around to people. You can ask my parents about this. It's so funny. The only people I sold to were my family members and my family friends because no one else would buy. I was so funny.
It's like when you were selling Girl Scout cookies.
I would go around houses and one of them, I'm gonna start crying. I'm laughing.
Yeah, Lauren, take a deep breath.
Made us do is take a penny and cut it in half with the Cutco scissors.
Do you still have? There we got our snorting. Do you still have any Cutco knives?
They all have their Cutco knives still. All my I think my aunt, my uncle,
it's a Ponzi scheme, by the way. It's a Ponzi scheme.
They all have Cutco knives. That's so funny.
This is hilarious.
Okay, let's move on. That's so funny. Sometimes I do this. I make myself laugh so hard I start crying.
That was amazing.
Good. Okay, back to NFL.
Back to the NFL. So last night, Lauren is sharper than a Cutco set. But also, so here was the part about the game that really bothered me. The Saints ran, so they were down in the game the whole time. They were behind the whole time. They still ran for 153 yards and almost 6 yards per attempt.
Wow.
even though the game script said they needed to throw. Yeah. But they were still slamming it. And you know how many times on 1st and 10, Taysom Hill did a play action, and I'm like, run the ball. Like Taysom Hill, every time he gets out on the edge with any bootleg or anything, he's like a bulldozer. He gets 7 yards every time. And I just didn't understand the game plan. Peyton threw the ball 41 times last night. And every 10 dropbacks, every 10 passes, he threw 4 picks. So 41 pass attempts, 4 picks. Every time he threw the ball, 1 out of 10, it was picked. Change your approach. You're getting good yards. And then the officiating in this league. There was a call last night that was a blindside block. I tweeted about it this morning or last night. It was like a normal play. The defensive end was coming, or the safety was blitzing off the end, and the running back was coming from the other side to block him. And it was a normal pocket that he was making, and they called it a 15-yard penalty for a blindside block. And I'm just what are the officiators, what are the refs looking at? Yeah. It's very frustrating to watch. We talk about it. I tweet and talk about the refs in the NFL way too much. It's it's really bad. It's really bad. It's tough to watch sometimes.
Ugh, I know.
But other than that, the game was interesting.
Other than all those things.
Other than all the other crap that went against us, the game was
there's another really interesting game this weekend because you got 3 futures on it, basically. The Bills are taking on the Patriots. And, Jared, I know you have Josh Allen for MVP, Bill Belichick for Coach of the Year, and Mac Jones for O'Roy. So when you're watching a game like this, how do you feel about watching that upcoming matchup when all of your futures are basically sliding into one?
I feel great about the Belichick one. I got a lot of heat for that one from Chris Rose and Ross Tucker earlier in the year. They're the Coach of the Year is not going to be a coach that's established like Belichick. It's going to be a newer coach, and usually it is. But Belichick has just done an amazing job with this offense. With Mac Jones, and really the defense is what he's known for, and the defense has been phenomenal. But I think he should get some credit for keeping Mac Jones's mentality, or whatever coaching staff is kind of keeping him stable. He's not making a lot of mistakes. This is going to be a really tough environment for him on Monday night, and I do think Josh Allen can take a big step towards the MVP. The MVP is still up in the air. Tom Brady right now is the favorite, but only slightly. Yeah. If I had to rank the awards, I would say I feel really good about Mac Jones to win Rookie of the Year. I feel also relatively really good about Belichick to win Coach of the Year. And Josh Allen MVP, coin flip, because I think Brady and Kyler, especially if Kyler comes back this weekend and plays really well, it's going to be tough down the stretch with those 2 guys. But this is a big game. The Patriots, they have a chance to win the division if they win this week. If they lose this week, I think it's still the Bills' division to lose. And I think the Bills are going to win. I picked the Bills at home. And I do think this is a Josh Allen get-right spot. Not get-right, but show the world how good he is, kind of. He's been a little, flaky, I guess, at times in some games this year. It's another primetime game on Monday night with a chance to really put the hammer down on a good divisional team. So I like the Bills, and go Bill Belichick. Yay, Coach.
Go Bill Belichick. You love to see it. I'm looking at some of my bets for this weekend, and I want to know what you think about them. So I found,
all right, here we go,
my plus money lines, because that's my thing, and it's worked for me. So you know what? I'm taking the Giants money line against the Dolphins at plus 162. Here's the thing. I'm kind of surprised that Miami is favored here, because this is a bad matchup, I think, for Tua. Miami made the game easy for him. They kept all of his passes close to the line of scrimmage and getting the ball out extremely quickly. Tua threw 31 passes against Carolina. Only one of those passes was more than 15 yards downfield. 1 out of 35 attempts. He threw 2 of those against the Jets. 1 for a TD. The other one was intercepted. He's attempted just 17 passes. This is crazy. I was reading these stats last night, and I'm like, what? He's attempted just 17 passes of 20-plus yards in 234 overall attempts. For comparison, you look at Chicago rookie Justin Fields. He's attempted 37 in 198 overall attempts. 17 passes, that's it. Out of 234 have been for over 20-plus yards. That's just crazy. Throw the ball. What are you doing? Let's do it. I don't know. So the Giants defense, you look at what they've been able to do. They're incrementally improved. And with quarter James Bradbury, he's only allowed 2 catches for 22 yards to Devontae Smith last week. I think if he's going up against Jalen Waddle, life's not going to be easy for him at all. So you look at the Giants offense after firing Jason Garrett. They won the turnover battle against Philly. But in the last 2 months, The Giants' only losses are to elite playoff teams: Tampa Bay, Kansas City, LA Rams, Dallas. When they take a step down in class, it's Carolina, Las Vegas, Philadelphia. They find ways to win. So I'm looking at the Giants going up against the Dolphins team. I think they're going to win by 3-4 points in this one. Maybe even a touchdown. I don't know, but I like the Giants money line plus 162. My plus money line.
All right, so the thing about this game, so very questionable quarterback situation. It's really going to be like a game time decision, I think, with Daniel Jones. Okay. From what I'm reading, it looks like both Jones and Mike Glennon are taking the first team reps this week, which is unique. Mm-hmm. Usually they give one guy the full reps first team, and that guy prepares to be the starter. It looks like from what I'm reading. Now, again, obviously it could change if Daniel Jones' neck feels better, but it looks like 50-50 first team reps. If it is Mike Glennon, and I tweeted these numbers out yesterday, Mike Glennon's career NFL record, 13-21 against the spread, 6-28 straight up. So if it is Mike Glennon, I would definitely not bet the Giants.
Yeah, I guess we'll wait to place this one. What if Daniel Jones does start?
Then I would say the Giants have some value. I will say this about Tua. I'm saying, well, I don't know if he's going to start. This is going to be a game time decision on Sunday, it looks like. So when we're doing the show on Sunday morning, hopefully we'll have a little more clarity, and hopefully you'll either be able to fully enforce this pick or it'll be more of a probably should stay away. But I will say this. I'm a little against your Tua cap. I think Tua's been pretty good. I think he's not getting enough credit the last month. He leads the NFL in completion percentage in November. And I know a lot of them are short passes, but
they're like 8 yards or less.
Yeah, but still, I mean, over 8 yards per attempt.
Pass the ball and have a good completion percentage too. You know what I mean? I get Powder Puff football, Jared. High school. Let's go.
I am done doubting anything that you do. I'm done doubting it. You could do anything. You could cut a penny in half with your fingers probably at this stage. You're so sharp. You don't even need the knife. Just right through. I think Tua has been pretty good. I think he's only played in like 19 career games, and he's got his buddy Jalen Waddle, who's been really impressive the last month or so. I think if the season was like week 19, week 20, week 21, I think Jalen Waddle would be in the Rookie of the Year category. He's not going to win it. It's going to be Mac Jones. But he's had just as good of a season, I think, as Jamar Chase. But I think Chase has gotten a little more of the fanfare because he's been a little more explosive. But Waddle's been very consistent over the last month or so. I think the Dolphins are kind of a scary playoff matchup, because they don't beat themselves. Their defense is playing well. They're going to probably make a run down the stretch. They've got a tough game in week 18 against the Pats, but I kind of like the Dolphins a little bit. I do. I can't do a dolphin noise, but if I could, I would.
A question from John in the chat. Do the Eagles get 7 wins? They're 5-7 on the season so far.
Where are they at now? They're at 5 now?
5-7. Mm-hmm.
Ross Tucker's got a future on them over 6.5. He was probably really upset about that Giants loss on Sunday. They play the Jets this week. There's win number 6. That means they need to win one game out of Washington twice, Giants, Dallas. Yes, they will finish with 7 wins. Yes.
My boys, the Eagles. I was flying high with them early in the season. I've kind of like tapered off, but
you were flying high with the Eagles.
I know, soaring high, whatever you want to say.
No, that's a good pun. I like that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, another one I'm looking at. This is I actually really feel good about this bet. Chargers at Bengals. I love Justin Herbert. I obviously still have my futures bet on him, but that's not looking too hot right now, but it's okay. I have Chargers money line at plus 134. What's wrong with them right now? Justin Herbert, he did regress, and the run defense is still the worst in the NFL. Here walks in the Bengals, right? They scored 73 points in wins over the Raiders and the Steelers. The key offensively for them, though, has been Joe Mixon. He rushed for 288 yards in both of those wins, which has been pretty incredible. The public has loved betting the Chargers, including me. I'm considering myself part of the public.
But his favorites are
2-5 against the spread. In their past 5 games, they've been favored 4. And they were, I would say, a pick 'em against Philly, right? But in the underdog role, though, guess what? The Chargers are 2-1 against the spread this season. And I think the Bengals might be overvalued after covering 2 straight weeks, right? They could be. I don't know. This is a team that lost to the Jets. You look back at it, and then they got taken apart by a struggling Browns team. It's the same exact team. Now, if you're looking for an outright upset this week, I think Justin Herbert could be bouncing back on the road for his pass defense that only ranks 19th right now. It feels like a good bet to me. For all the hype about the Bengals defense in 2 meetings against the Steelers, since he is tied for 6th in missed tackles. So I think if the Chargers offense sputters, I think if
I like that stat.
Yeah, I think if the Chargers offense sputters again, LA, I think Joe Lombardi goes from like a little toasty to like full on toaster oven. But I think that this is a good bounce back spot for the Chargers to me. See, I love my little puns.
Can you explain the toaster oven? Can you explain that? Can you clarify, please?
The toaster oven, full on. But I think this is a good bounce back spot for the Chargers. I think it's a letdown week for the Bengals. Chargers money line at plus 134. I got that on FanDuel.
I like the letdown bounce back angle, but that's the only angle in this game that I like.
What? Come on now.
Bengals, hold on. The Bengals, first of all, this could be a weather game. You know, you've been to Ohio many times. The weather in Ohio this time of year is a little dodgy. And our Southern California boy, Justin Herbert, rain, wind, they don't have the ground and pound game like Cincinnati does. And what are the Chargers terrible at? What's their kryptonite on defense? You just said it.
I know.
And Joe Mixon is a machine right now. So that's the concern for me, is that the Bengals just cram it right down the Chargers' throats, and then the Chargers have to bring 8 guys in the box, and then Joe Burrow goes, play action. Oh, here you go, T. Higgins. Here you go, Jamar Chase. Here's your one-on-one coverage on the outside. Now, that doesn't mean that's how it's going to play out.
Yeah.
Brandon Staley is a defensive guru, but they just gave up 37 points to the Steelers, and they didn't. And I know that one of the was a pick 6 last week against Denver, but they gave up 28 to Denver last week, who has not played well on offense. So I'm a little bit concerned about the Chargers, and I think they're kind of on the edge of being an irrelevant team if they go to Cincy this week and get blown out. And this is a put up or shut up game for the Chargers. The best part about your cap for sure is let down for Cincy. Everyone's talking about
letdown spots. You love the letdown, and you love the bounce back spots.
That's what scares me here. Another thing that scares me here, I have not seen the strong movement off of 3. And usually at home, Cincinnati, all the public is going to be laying it with the Bengals. They are for the most part. It hasn't moved through the key number 3. Unlike that Niners-Seahawks game, which the Niners have moved through the key number of 3. I'm seeing mostly 3.5s. This one has kind of stopped at 3, which leads me to believe that the books don't want to overexpose themselves to the Chargers, which leads me to believe that the Chargers might be the sharper side.
We'll see what happens Sunday, Jared. We'll see what happens Sunday.
We shall, my friend.
I know. My best bet of the day yesterday. I've heard a lot of crap about it. I know.
Oh,
this is a really big long shot. I don't know.
It was a big long shot. It was 5-1, but you nailed it. And I look like a donkey. I will be eating hay and carrots all day because
Lauren's long shots, baby. It's a new segment. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Don't we already have it? It's called plops. But that's kind of props, I guess.
That's plus money props.
But this was a prop last night. That was a prop last night.
It was a plop. It was a plop and a
It was a plop and a half is what it was.
Yeah.
It was a double.
We have a long shot. Let's go a long way. I'm good on the puns today. Let's go a long way across the pond, all the way to England, and talk about some of the English Premier League. That's the worst accent I could ever do.
Oh, we have some spotlight British people that might maybe.
I love it. I know. I need to freshen up my English accent. I need to get better at it. I'm really bad at it. But you know what? Let's talk about the EPL because you got some Jared's kick picks heading into this weekend.
You know what I love? To me, the derbies are my favorite. So we're getting them this weekend. We're getting one big one this weekend. Chelsea and West Ham, the London derby. So I think this is a good both teams to score match, which is simply put, both teams score a goal. About even money there. So West Ham, Chelsea, both teams to score, laying about 5 cents. I found it last night. Then Southampton and Brighton, we're going under 2.5. So saw some odds movement there towards the under that I thought was intriguing. And also Southampton's actually coming off a pretty impressive match where they scored 2. Brighton crushed me over the earlier this week. They had a late goal against West Ham. We were on West Ham. I don't want to talk about it. And then we're going to do a money line parlay. So by the way, Liverpool Liverpool is unbelievable. I think Liverpool is the hottest team in the EPL right now, even though they are not in first place in the standings. I think if I had to pick a team today, like if all the teams in the EPL were to vacuum, who's the team that's playing the best? Liverpool is my choice. And we're going to parlay Liverpool money line there at Wolves. Wolves have been dreadful. They've had back-to-back 0-0 draws, and I was on Wolves both times. Both games, I bet Wolves, and both games were 0-0. You know how boring it is to watch a soccer match when you bet on a team and they lose? I played soccer
my whole life. It's boring to play in too, to be honest with you.
Wolves, you're killing me. All right, so
Wolves.
We're fading killing me, Smalls. We're fading Wolves this week. I'm done with Wolves. Done. Liverpool money line. It's a big price. We can't just play Liverpool money line on its own. We have to parlay it with something. So Man City team total over 1.5. I really like Man City. They've got Grealish and Foden back in the lineup. They're playing much better. Still no Kevin De Bruyne. He's the guy that's like the guy for them, and he's been out for a while. But this is a Man City team that coming off of a league title. And Watford's been really bad. They were one of the teams that was promoted from the championship over the summer. So we're gonna go Man City over 1.5 goals, parlayed with Liverpool on the money line, laying about 25 cents.
I like
Kick picks for Saturday. All these are on Saturday, by the way.
Kick picks for Saturday. Saturday fun day. Friday fun day. Saturday fun day.
Every day's fun day.
We're having fun every day. Speaking of fun, there's no pun there. Speaking of fun, I don't have a pun, but let's move on to our picks.
That's a rhyme.
I know. I feel like I've been pretty good today. Thank you very much.
You're on fire today.
Pickswise 3-star play of the day. What we got?
Sam Abalone, college hoops picks. You guys like your college hoops picks, right? We haven't talked a lot about college hoops this week. We will. Don't worry. We talked a little bit. We had Jim Root on. By the way, he went 2-0 with his picks that he came on earlier this week. So shout out Jim Root. He's not watching because he's probably sleeping at 7 a.m. where he is. But Kansas at St. John's, over 157. 3-star best bet. Read about it on Pickswise.com.
I like it. What's your best bet of the day?
I'm going back to the ice. I was 1-1 with my puck picks yesterday. I got the Avs right. Nice bounce back for them in Montreal for your Avalanche. Isles, man, the Isles just are snake bitten right now. They took a lead 1-0 into the game last night against the Sharks. I was convinced they were going to win their first game at their new arena last night. Didn't. They got tied.
They're missing so many players right now.
They had some guys back last night. Like Barzal, like a lot of their guys were back last night, and they still couldn't win. It's tough sledding for the Isles right now. We're going to find a buy low price. I know the 250 to 1 that we gave out earlier this week kind of like disappeared in the market, but we're going to find a good buy low price for the Isles in the futures market. It's not yet. They've got to win. They've got to win some games and kind of get that swag back. So we're going back to the ice tonight after 1-1 last night. I like Vegas tonight. They're in the desert against the Yotes. This line moved 195 to now minus 220. We're not going to play the straight money line, a little too juicy. We're going to play the three-way money line at minus 120. We've talked about Arizona, possibly the worst team of this millennium. They're a minus 40 in goal differential. Vegas, meanwhile, has lost 3 of their last 4. So you're getting, considering they're facing Arizona, you're getting a relatively buy low price because Vegas has been struggling a lot too. And Vegas has scored 10 goals in their last 2 road games. So they're playing well on the road. They're coming off a crazy 6-5 loss to the Ducks. There was like 6 goals scored in the second period of that game. I think Vegas gets right tonight. I think they win in regulation against Arizona.
I like it. My play of the day is for the weekend because I'm not doing Saturday and Sunday shows. It's all up to you and Alex Glaze this weekend. I'm passing the torch to you guys. But I'm looking tomorrow at the Georgia-Alabama game. I really, really like Alabama getting 6.5 points. This is Georgia's chance to knock the Crimson Tide out of the SEC championship game. And in my opinion, if Alabama has 2 losses out of the college football playoff, right? You look at what Georgia's defense has been able to do. I said it yesterday. I think I said it the day before too. They've allowed less than a touchdown per game the entire regular season, 6.9 points per game. That's pretty incredible. I think that Alabama is going to be one of the best offenses that Georgia has faced all season. Bryce Young could have his Heisman moment here, but I'm also not sure if Bama's O-line is going to be able to hold off Georgia's defense enough to actually allow him to make plays. They have to hold off Georgia's defense. I think Bama's defense is going to do its part in keeping this game close. This is the Bulldogs' year, though. This is Georgia's year. They're the best defense that I think any of us have seen probably in the past 10 years. And their offense is stellar too, but no one really talks about them, right? I think Georgia wins here. Bama covers. Alabama, they've won the last 6 games versus Georgia since 2008, which is the longest win streak in the series. Yeah, the longest win streak that the series has ever seen in 70 total meetings. Now, since 2008, Georgia has been the higher ranked team only 3 times. They're 0-3 and have lost by 10 plus points 2 times. Alabama ranked 7th in pass yards per game. Georgia ranks 2nd in pass yards per game allowed. So I think this is one of those games. It's going to be close. It's going to be a fight till the end. But the dogs, woo, come out on top. But I think Alabama's going to cover. I like Alabama plus 6.5 in this spot. It's going to be exciting.
Alabama too.
I'm also excited for the Michigan game. Go Blue, baby. Just had to shout that out.
Wait, I thought you were in Iowa.
What?
I thought you were betting Iowa.
Well, I know, but I still think Michigan's going to win. We'll leave it at that. Because I'm going to not have win and not jinx my team.
You're the best. I'll add this on Bama. I did actually get my guy in the desert, wink, wink, told me that if the money line with Bama gets to plus 220, right now it's around plus 200. But if the money line for Bama gets to plus 220, that's the dividing line that the Vegas sharps are going to step in on Bama. So if you see the money line at plus 200 Saturday morning and it starts to creep up, maybe plus 210, if you see plus 220 and you like Bama, that's the point of no return where the Bama money is going to start to flow and the line will go back towards Georgia. So there's still some room. There's still some room on the Bama side. This line might drift to 7, but the money line at 220, put a peg in plus 220. That's the number to keep in mind. If you want to bet Bama on the money line, that'll be the best price I think you're going to get, plus 220. They're
going to break down all the college football games tomorrow. It's going to be an exciting one, guys. Thanks so much. I don't know why I said guys, thanks so much. It's just us two right here. Okay, well,
people.
Have a great night. Humans. People, the Pickswise people. Thanks
Pickswise so Nation.
Guys, have a great Friday. Happy Friday. Lauren Jabara, Jared Smith. Best of luck with your bets tonight. I'll see you on Monday. They'll see you tomorrow. Let's get it. Let's bet it.
Yay.